Hello, everybody. It's the Skeptical Scotsman here again. Um, yeah, we got to talk. We got quite a bit to cover, and it's going to get funny. Give me a second here.
Hello.
Hello. Now let's get straight to the point with let's get straight to the topic of the podcast: the attempted assassination of former President Trump.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not condoning the actions taken. I'm not. I don't think it was. I don't think it was right. And I'm not condoning that violence. I got a bunch of Republican friends, and for those of you who don't know, the Patriot podcast is the man here sitting on my side. I've known him for
No,
20,
that's my
25 years, something like that. I mean,
yeah.
I met him when I was, what,
Yeah.
22?
Yeah.
I'm now
And the
40.
Patriot
I'm about to
podcast.
be 44. So we've known each
Yeah,
other
the
a
Patriot.
while. Not the oldest friend I have, but one of the oldest friends I have.
Yeah, and the Patriot podcast is my second channel. My first channel is True Crime Cult.
Yeah, it's the podcast that everybody knows about. Oh, but
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's
I, I watched some very interesting stuff today. Now you had Biden who did his address to the nation at 7 o'clock. It only lasted about 10 minutes, but even he was saying that we all need to come together, and if we have any differences, do it at the ballot box.
yeah. I'm not going to debate that. I think the ballot box should be where it ultimately is decided, but there are a few things that need to be put up into that. If you get my drift.
Yeah, and just like this coming either tomorrow or later this week, the House Oversight Committee is going to be having the head of the Secret Service come in and testify because both sides of the aisle want to find out exactly what had happened, why this man got so close to the former president, because he was only like 100 and either between 140 to 150 feet away from former President Trump on top of an elevated building that gave him a clean line of sight to the president.
Yeah, I'm sending a link for anybody who wants to join us on StreamYard. In case you're wondering, on to YouTube. That way, if they want to join in the conversation, they can, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Nobody knows I'm airing it because I was setting this up. Um, I will say one thing. While I don't condone this action at all, if you're going to do something, do it fucking right the first time. And I've heard plenty of people saying that this is unheard of. This is just an incredible show of bad faith from a supposed extremist left winger.
Yeah.
Okay, we get it. The former president, got shot, and another man who wasn't Trump was killed by the sniper. Okay, we get it's a horrific act. What about January 6th? You're going to
Yeah.
excuse January 6th, but you're going to condemn anybody who shoots at Trump. I mean, it was a matter
Yeah.
of time till this happened. Not that I'm condoning
Yeah.
it. I'm just saying it was a matter of time till it happened. And now that it has happened, all these Republicans, this is not right. January 6th wasn't right. You excused it. You get made
Yeah. And
excuses for everybody who was in that.
yeah, and you have Biden who's calling the country to lower the temperature on political rhetoric and political violence. And
Trump has to do it first. Trump needs to do that first. It's not Joe telling us, well, we need to calm the rhetoric down. Trump needs to do that first, not us. Him. He's bullying and picking apart and calling names. Why doesn't he go first at all?
Now, Trump has put out a statement, and he's invited Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley to the RNC convention, and he made the statement in a post on Truth Social. Now is the time that we need that we need to all come together, both sides of the aisle, and we need to work together collectively as Republicans and Democrats to bring the heat down on the political rhetoric and the political violence. He said, what happened yesterday was a dark day, yes, but it also made me realize my own actions.
Now, here, can I ask you a technical question about the podcast? Do you have your volume turned down?
Yeah. Is that better?
Well, you got to speak more than is that better.
Okay. But yeah.
See, why are you so low? I don't get that. It's like your volume's turned down. You're messing with machines again. I can hear my own echo. Da 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 da.
Okay.
Da 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 da. I don't know if it's fixed if you talk. I can still hear myself. That's why I shut off you. That's why I got back out of my YouTube live stream, even though I'm live streaming on YouTube, because I can hear everything I can talk. Just like I can hear it now.
But yeah, what do you have to say about Trump actually?
I can barely hear you. Nothing. I can hear myself repeating. What are you doing? This is the problem with the electronics.
Okay, now what do you yourself have to think about Trump stating that Republicans and Democrats need to come together to bring down political violence?
If I could hear you, I would answer whatever the hell you just asked. I literally can. You're that low. I know I'm loud on your computer because I'm projecting so that you can hear me.
Okay. Yeah. My wife
maybe put the mic closer to your mouth. I don't know.
My wife had the air conditioner going.
Oh, I can hear you. Okay, yeah, now try talking.
Okay.
And
what do you feel about
echo, man?
What do you feel about how Trump is stating that the Republicans and Democrats need to come together to denounce political violence and bring back unity to both parties?
Trump said that when?
In a post on Truth Social earlier today.
It takes him getting shot to say we both need both parties need to work together. He has to bleed over his spray after his spray over his spray tan to come to that conclusion. The hell.
I mean, even Melania took to Twitter today and stated the political extremism and political violence is an ugly eyesore in the United States. Donald John Trump is a loving husband and he has people who love him. So why do we have to let domestic extremism win out over love?
Yeah, it takes him bleeding and getting him an assassination attempt that's that close to him to get. Well, we need to do this, that, and the other. You were fitting to bash the entire Democratic Party at that rally. It takes you bleeding over your spray tan to get to, well, we need to be peaceful. Yeah, you said the same thing. You were saying the exact opposite when it was the Republicans who were trying to kill off democracy. I'm not condoning violence like that. You already know that. But I don't see how you can look at an assassination attempt as anything different than what January 6th was, because January 6th was meant to be where all of the Democrats were taken out, put in hogtied, and killed if they didn't make President Trump the fucking president. I don't see the difference. It's political violence on both ends. The Republicans will excuse anything from their end, but if it comes from anything but a right-wing Republican or who they accept as one, then it's not right. And apparently, everybody was going gaga on TikTok last night. A lot of people's videos got canceled for showing raw footage of the dead gunman on the roof or stating his name, which was bullshit. They released his name hours ago from those videos, and nobody got flagged or taken down. And from what I read, this kid had donated money to the Republicans. So this crap that he was a leftist Jew doesn't make any sense.
Well, he was a Republican. He was a Republican, but on Joe Biden's inauguration day, he had donated $15 to this progressive foundation, and that was it. Just $15 to Progressive Foundation, and he was a Republican.
Roger.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get this up on the phone. It may not work, but damn it, I'm gonna try it, you know?
But I just feel, and yes, the FBI has labeled this domestic extremism. And
Lean closer into your mic.
Huh?
Lean into your microphone. I can keep on wanting to have it away from you. I can barely hear you when you back your head up.
Okay, it has been labeled as domestic extremism by the FBI, and they're thinking that he worked alone.
Yeah,
But
even though you and a couple of fringe news agencies were reporting it first as two shooters.
Yes, because
No, I'm not rubbing it in your face. I'm telling you what you told me, is that there was possibly two shooters, and that you confirmed it through a news media outlet, and most of that's been pretty much almost debunked.
Yes, there was a gentleman on Twitter that shared a picture of this gentleman named Mark Violets, who went on YouTube apparently an hour, 30 minutes before it happened, and said justice was coming. And
the weird part is I saw a post like that on TikTok and followed it.
Yeah.
And this really chunky dude, or husky guy, with a full black beard, is in the photo. And then when they show photos of him not even an hour ago on the news, those two look nothing the fuck alike.
Yeah, I know.
So what gives with that? Why are they saying it's this smart guy? Unless you guys with the exact same name, but the guy they're showing on camera and everything like that, everything from the event, looks nothing like the Mark Violence who's being shown on TikTok.
Yeah. The shooter's last name was Crooks, and then you have this Mark Violets, who is affiliated with Antifa, and he went on his YouTube channel and said justice was coming 30 minutes before this happened. And
Yeah.
this one content creator named JLR or Justin Lee Riches thinks that Crooks and Violets were in cahoots together. But watching the news today, they're saying that Crooks was a lone wolf gun, but that AR-556 that he used to shoot at the former president and then kill another one and wounded two others was his father's gun. It was purchased by his dad.
Yeah, and if you remember, wasn't it the Uvalde shooting where the son took the guns out of his grandma's gun locker and shot the school up? Or am I mixing that one up with another one?
There was another case where the parents of this the parents of this student were both charged with manslaughter.
Dude, you're thinking of the one that happened. You're thinking of the one that happened with the supermarket, not the school. The one that happened at the supermarket where the dude killed like 8 black people. His parents were charged with crimes because they allowed him to do it.
Okay, yeah, that might. Then the Uvalde one might be the kid that took his grandparents' gun.
I've done about as much promotion as I can on that. If we don't get any viewers, we don't get any viewers. I don't really give a shit at this point. I mean, I'm sure someone
right about that. Yeah,
what?
I think you're right about that. I think you're right about that one with the boy taking the grandparents' gun and shooting up the school in Uvalde.
I don't know. I'm not sure if it's Uvalde or if I'm just shortcutting it from Sandy Hook.
But yeah, I think it's funny. You have a former president who's been the most divisive president in history. Now all of a sudden, someone tries to kill him. Oh well, we all just need to get along. We all need to unite.
Well, yeah, after he gets shot, after half of his ear gets blown off, right? We need to be get along together. And Democrats are do. 24 hours ago, you were thinking about splitting the country in half just to get your way. That doesn't say an inclusive leader right there, does it?
No, and then you have some of his supporters. As he's being rushed off the stage, they're standing there and they're flipping the cameras off, and they're chanting USA, 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 and then you see the video of this one girl chanting USA, 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 and she's saying F you, F you, F you while flipping the cameras off.
Yeah, and a lot of the supporters that are flipping the camera off and saying F you, honestly, you gotta wonder what the hell's going through their brain. It's like you are not all that smart to be flipping the camera off, knowing it's live and knowing it was going to go live as soon as Trump got shot. Because as soon as he got shot, that shit went global. And for those of you watching this after the fact, we were going to do this podcast or this live podcast yesterday, but with the president having been, with the former president getting having an assassination attempt done on him, it blew the internet up. There was no way to get access to the internet via computer. I started my computer up, took like 45 minutes till I got an old computer. Trying to get on the internet was like what I do. Wait 45 minutes to get on the internet.
Yeah, almost an hour.
I got nothing. And all because everybody's like, well, I need to look this up. Yet we had Dr. Ruth die yesterday. We had Richard Simmons die yesterday. And according to the news I got this morning, Shannon Doherty died yesterday.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, all I got overshadowed because of a wannabe celebrity, former president, got Mike Tyson on his ear by a bullet.
What did she die of?
Shannon Doherty, cancer. Apparently, she got cancer in 2020, and when they checked on her recurring cancer, because she had a mastectomy and all that shit. When they detected the cancer again, they found out it was stage 4. So it was automatically going to kill her from the get-go. There was no surviving the cancer. I didn't get a chance to look up what Richard Simmons died of. But Dr. Ruth was like 94 years old. So old age.
I think Richard Simmons died of cancer.
I don't know. I haven't looked it up. I can do that right now, though. Well, he was 76 years old, so he wasn't exactly young, you know?
Yeah, he sure looked young.
He died just one day after his 76th birthday. His death appeared to be from natural causes. Given his output of caloric burning in life, I don't doubt it at all. Not one little bit. That man put out more energy than porn stars will ever put out in their lifetime. And all they do is fuck around. Give me a second. I gotta lock the front door here.
Okay.
But yeah, it's rather ironic that the one guy who works out more than a porn star does in an average day and helped millions of people lose a ton of fat because they weren't moving around and he got them off their asses, dies of natural causes at 76. Is like, did he look okay for 76? I think so.
Yeah.
I thought he was like in the 60s, like my parents were, but no. He's older than them. And yeah, Dr. Ruth died at 96, so it doesn't really matter what she died of. She's dead. She was old. It happens.
It's kind of funny. I thought she died years ago.
Everybody thought the same thing. What's weird is I just looked Dr. Ruth up not 3 months ago because I was watching some psychological thriller. I looked her up. It said she was still alive. It's like, damn, this bitch is like a cockroach. Of course, I thought the same thing about Richard Simmons, and I looked him up. And yeah, I think it's funny. Less than 2 years after they made a documentary covering the scam that he died, he then dies. But he died at 76. Dr. Ruth died 2 decades older than he did. But she was also like that unabashed grandma who's like, yeah, I was very sexually active when I was your age. They used to call me the buttered biscuit. It's like, grandma, too much information. I remember, like, she could remember when guys used to have to go to the doctor, and the doctor used to have to rub the cream on the guy to get rid of gonorrhea, syphilis, probably crabs. Who knows? Any vaginally transmitted STI was all the way with a doctor gripping your shit and shanking it with cream. Yeah, that's how old she is.
Now, I was watching on last night. It was the 11th hour with Stephanie Rule. There was a bunch of students, believe it was in New York, that all got together and hacked their teacher's social media accounts and
Okay,
started harassing her through her own social media accounts.
Okay.
All 12 kids are being charged with identity theft.
Which they can be. And they should also be charged with cyberbullying. That's actually a thing now. Because Gen Z is soft. If you
Carl froze up. Wow, this is weird.
we got quite a bit to cover, and it's going to get funny.
What happened?
Hello. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what happened. The computer said I unplugged the camera. I did not fucking touch the cord. Apparently, I was talking shit on too many things, and the camera decided, nope. But yeah, I put a link to the StreamYard thing, so if anybody wants to watch, they can. We have one viewer. Hello, viewer. Whoever you are. We love you. And if you need to, feel free to send a message if you want. I'm promising you this won't be a 3-hour podcast. I promise. Because I'm not going to be up that damn long. But it's really fascinating because yesterday I was up till 1 a.m. The TV was muted, and literally breaking news from 6 to 1 a.m. over this assassination attempt. Literally, they had nothing new to say, and they were still on at 1 a.m. covering the story. And it's really? Are people that mad hungry for information? I'm sorry, I'm gonna do something else with my time. And today I made very good use of my time, as I told you before I went online. You would not disagree that was an excellent use of my time. You're not saying no, so I'm going to take that as a yes.
No, I'm not saying no.
Not saying nothing. I'm not a woman.
Now, I want to get your take on what's going on with this whole Project 2025 thing, and now Oklahoma has passed a law where the Bible and the Ten Commandments must be taught in classes.
Number one, it's illegal. Number two, it's unconstitutional federally. So they can't be public schools that do that because it's illegal to do and it's unconstitutional. And number three, when they talk about religious freedom, especially the right-wingers, they're not talking about total religious freedom. They're talking about their religious freedom to do whatever the hell they want to with Christianity. That's their end game. They want to be in charge, and they want their particular religion respected above everybody else's, which is unconstitutional. As you should well know from having read the fucking thing. We're gonna assume you're literate, right?
Yeah, according to the governor in Oklahoma, it is now mandated in the state of Oklahoma the Ten Commandments and the Bible must be taught in the curriculum. And the chief deputy of education there in Oklahoma passed it down to all teachers.
Deputy of education.
That's what he
wasn't
calls
that the name of Gene Wilder's official title in the movie Blazing Saddles? It's a meaningless fucking title.
It's the head of the it's the head of education there in Oklahoma, and he passed it down. He passed it down to the teachers and the teachers unions. This has to be done.
And on a national level, so if anybody sues them on federal grounds, they'll win it by a fucking huge margin. Imagine telling an Islamic kid they have to learn Christianity. Imagine telling a Jew they have to learn Christianity and follow everything. No, it's illegal. It's unconstitutional. That's what you go to church for, fucker.
And now get this, Texas, all Republican-led states that have the Republican legislative supermajorities.
Oh yeah.
Texas, Kansas, Utah, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, they are all showing interest to implement the same thing in their respective states.
I don't know where they're getting the news that Kansas is doing that because the correct here.
They're not doing it yet. They, like Chris Kobach is thinking about it, but he knows it's not going to fly with a Democratic government.
Because Chris Kobach is a self-important cocksucker. The motherfucker thinks that that his religion, his way, is the way to go because he's another crystal fascist conservative Republican who has broken laws to live in the house he lives in. You know this. I've showed you the proof. He's a fucking con man.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't give a shit if we get flagged by YouTube at this point because I really don't give a damn. If Trump can go on and say all the lies that he said in his debate with Biden, and I'm getting shit ton of responses from that because everybody's like, well, what do you think happened? We lost. Everybody lost. Trump didn't do anything but fucking lie. Biden couldn't do anything but be a bumbling old man suffering from like dementia or something. And like when he had that, did you watch the news conference he did? Was it just the other day on Thursday?
Yes, yeah, I did.
What did you think about them apples?
As soon as I saw, I'm like, oh my God. They shoved a poor old grandpa out there to make a fool of himself.
Again, what did you think of that comment?
I think we all lost. I didn't like it.
Well, from my perspective, and this is only my perspective, you can disagree, I don't care. It's okay. I'll accept you fucking not agreeing with me. We're adults. For me, that debate alone was a dumpster fire because Biden couldn't keep his shit together, and all Trump could do was literally lie out of his ass. And then when Trump did the press conference, where he's taking on, unrestricted questions or whatnot, towards the last half when he was rambling on, did you notice something odd during his speech? During his rambling?
You mean all the gaps that he was doing?
No. Did you notice?
He was believing his own hype.
No.
Okay,
Come on, use your brain. I tell this to this guy all the time. Use your brain.
He was lost in his own speech. I know that much.
Bam! 3 fucking times. 3 damn times. He got lost in his own speech. Is that a guy you want running the country? I don't like Trump at all. I don't like Biden either at this point. We need a better candidate. I mean, goddamn, if Kamala would take over the ticket, dude, she would have 3/4 of this country voting for her. Or at least 3/4 of the people who actually think beyond the election was stolen from us. People who, know better.
Now you had Marjorie Taylor Greene go on to Twitter right after that happened with Trump, and MTG said, "This is all the Democrats and the mainstream media's fault. Every drop of blood he has spilt is their fault."
Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene says that, and when did she post that?
Yesterday.
I'm assuming after the assassination attempt.
Yes.
So then she has no excuse. She's going to just excuse away January 6th, where rioters killed 1 police officer. I don't buy the bullshit story that he died from an allergic reaction to bear spray. How many during the January 6th committee hearings? How many videos did they have of riot police and regular police being banged up on, hit, slammed into doors, everything that's deplorable about political violence they were doing, but they're okay with it. It's okay if the Republicans do it. If one crazy batshit liberal shoots at a president, oh my God! Fucking end it! What the hell? How's that balance?
Now you see, Benny Thompson, who was one of the chairmen of the January 6th committee.
Yeah.
He fired one of his staffers yesterday because she went on Twitter and made the statement, "I deplore political violence, but looks like someone needs to take shooting lessons and not miss next time."
Well, she might be saying violence is a bad thing, but fuck, if you're going to shoot, make sure you can hit the target. And for everybody who wants to cancel me over that, go ahead. I do not give a shit.
So he ended up firing her today
because she exercised her right to free speech. I don't agree with it, but dude, if you're gonna fucking assassinate a president, do it the right goddamn way and do it the first damn time with the first bullet. I'm not condoning the violence, but if you're gonna do it right the first damn time. Like if you walk up to a dude and hit him in the exact center of the back of the head where it knocks him the fuck out with a baseball bat, and he gets up, run. Don't stay there. Run, because he's going to kill you. And now Trump has that ammunition.
Now, see what everyone is pointing out on social media and the news. If Trump hadn't turned his head this way, it would have been a direct kill shot. But because he turned his head,
Trump has like ADD or some shit. He can't keep his head one way or the other. It's constantly. It looks like a damn chicken with a nervous condition. Fucking leave your head in one spot, dude. You're not a bird.
Yeah, he was showing. He was trying to show the crowd this, on the video.
He was wanting to show them some graphs that he had pre-plotted to prove a point that he wanted to make, which is bullshit anyway. But
About how
as for 2024, you asked a question about 2024. Let's get back to that real fast, all right? Just for a minute.
Okie dokie.
Just for a minute. Trump has now, in the past week, denounced large portions of Project 2025. I spoke to you literally 2 fucking weeks ago, and I threw out an idea that you literally could not talk for 30 seconds. Literally, it made you speechless, did it not? Now, for those of you watching this later or listening, Project 2025 is a think tank project made by the Heritage Foundation, conservative Republican think tank, and they made a 900-page manifesto.
Yeah, but it's not just by the Heritage Foundation. It's by 100 collective, smaller, conservative think tanks across the United States.
No, I already researched it. Already did that backlog work. They're trying to keep, as of recently, they're trying to keep the contributors itemized and categorized so that they all don't fall under the Heritage Foundation. All of them have in some way been a part of the Heritage Foundation and are still active in the Heritage Foundation. So they're all active in it. So it's not, well, they were other think tank. No. They were all active in it. They all contributed to it. And I read some of the tenets, and I've talked to some of my right-wing friends, and some of them aren't bothered by it. Like, well, the 4 tenet pillars are okay. No, they're not. I get you agree with that because you're a church-going Christian, but not everybody in America is a church-going Christian. We're not all the same. You want this Project 2025 follows a blueprint for a president to become an autocrat, a dictator. I've watched plenty of videos for and against it. I understand the compare and contrast better than most people do. I mean, hell, you even know I compare and contrast. I've watched documentaries you can barely sit through. I watched some of those documentaries 3 fucking times to get a better understanding and better compare and contrast, right? Like I watched that. I asked you to watch a documentary that was 3 parts, hour and a half each for each part. So it took up a good chunk of the day. I get that. It's annoying. I was asked to watch it and comment it by a friend I graduated high school with. I watched it 3 damn times. After I was on the first time, I invited you to watch it, right?
Yes.
We watched it. We watched it the first time, and I watched it the second time on the same day. I asked you the day after what you thought of it, and you said you couldn't watch the whole thing. You said you made it through 40 minutes of the first episode, and you had to stop.
Yeah.
And then I watched it the third time a few days later, and everybody, all of a sudden, I've got all these friends who are like, well, have you watched this one? Yes, I've watched it. What do you think? Don't waste your time. Nobody can sit through this crap but me? Come on. I must have some weird ability to be able to watch complete bullshit and make comparisons and contrastions. Just made up a word there. Contrastions to the information being presented versus the truth of the situation. I heard a yowl from the bedroom. Dum, dum, dum. Anyway, I have done a considerable amount of work keeping up with the political, the socio-political heartbeat of America, even the undertow, right?
Yeah, and now what happened? Apparently what the Biden administration is trying to do is pull down all of its ads, labeling Trump a threat to democracy because of what happened yesterday. And
I don't think they can pull down that ad.
And now the DNC is pausing all of its ads that they have come out with about Trump, and they're
Why?
attempting
To
to
lose?
and now they're attempting to pull down all the billboards off of buses in Milwaukee because of what happened to Trump yesterday.
Now, does that make sense to you for them to do all that shit?
No, it don't.
Why doesn't it make sense to you?
Well, for one thing, because they're also gung ho against Trump, and I understand that yes, he was almost assassinated yesterday, but this is in the middle of a presidential campaign season as well as an election. So why pull down all the ads targeting Trump unless they want to bring down the political rhetoric surrounding what happened to Trump yesterday?
The political rhetoric was started by Trump in this case. You have to admit that he started 95% of the political rhetoric. Like when they had their debate, did Trump have his shit together? No, he lied. He spent most of the time. He spent 99% of the time lying his ass off. That having been said, he didn't flub up and call Putin or call Zelensky Putin, and he hasn't picked the vice president to run with him yet.
Yeah, no, he actually called Vice President Harris Vice President Trump.
Yeah, and Trump's had those gaps on the off years when he wasn't running for office. During the past 4 years, he's made shitloads of gaps. Nobody gives a shit. And when you're comparing, like, people like, well, Biden's too old. Trump is 5 fucking minutes younger than Biden, people. Are you really that stupid? He is 5 minutes younger than Biden. He is fucking one triple greasy ass cheeseburger away from a heart attack. At least we know Biden won't die of that.
And apparently, after the assassination attempt, Biden called him Donald. Didn't call him loser. Didn't call him rapist like he has been the last couple of weeks. He called him Donald. And then
Biden is trying to be a gracious Democrat and political colleague, even though they're enemies. I get it. In my brain, with what's at stake, I'm thinking it's a mistake to be a little too soft. You're being too soft on a guy who, when we get back to politics as normal, Trump won't give a fuck. He's going to come after blood. It won't be, okay, well, I'm not so good for the country, but people like me. And Biden is doing this thing where he's like, well, I've got a story for that. It's going to take 45 minutes to tell with 13 side stories and 3 subplots, and I might forget who's in the story, and I might change it to a different subject, but I do have a story. Who are people going to fall in line with that narrative?
Yeah.
And I don't want Trump to win. I won't be voting for Trump. At this point, I'm not voting. I will go third party. I don't give a shit if it ends a victory to Trump, because neither one of them deserve to win.
So you're gonna be voting for RFK Jr., huh?
Any choice is better than the ones we have now. Like people are saying, I know a few months ago, I was saying I was going to go vote for Biden, but, well, there was one debate, and then you fuck up at a news conference meant to bolster your position, and you fuck that up. How do you sink a battleship with 2 shots and hit it in the same place?
Now, mind you have the former Attorney General, Bill Barr. He came out right after the assassination attempt and said the Democrat rhetoric about Trump being a danger to democracy or a threat to democracy needs to end because he's not.
Because Trump's not a threat to democracy?
Yes.
It sounds like they're going softball. It sounds like they're softballing him. Oh well, we need to soften this. And why are we protecting the ego of 76 million Americans? Most of which are fucking boomers. Like 3/4 of the population that supports Trump are baby boomers. Don't chew on that fucking gristle, right?
Well, a lot of the people at the rally yesterday didn't look like boomers. They looked like Gen Xers.
Dude, go look at the fucking footage of the crowd.
Now you had that one girl that was chanting USA, 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 and then FU, FU, FU.
I didn't say they had brains.
She was a Gen Xer.
I'm not so sure about that.
Or maybe a millennial.
I saw a few millennials out there with their adult children who were like still in their early 20s. Like, he hasn't held my hand since he was 5. The fuck? Why are you traumatizing the kid by not holding his hand? He needs to grow up and be a real man. At 5, fuck you. I'm sorry, if you expect that kid to be a full-grown adult at 5, you grew up in the wrong goddamn era. Well, we're from a rural town. Yeah, we can tell.
Now, mind you, the FBI has the shooter's phone, but they can't get into it. They're trying to figure a way into his phone.
Is it an Apple phone?
Yes.
You know they can get into that, right?
Well, according to Quantico, they're having a hard time getting into it.
Are you really buying that bullshit?
No.
So then why are you repeating it? You're being a parrot.
Now, I want
An assassination attempt where the assassin gets fucking killed? Do you think that Apple's not going to say, here, bing, there's the information now, fuck off and leave us alone? They're going to give them, the U.S. government, what they want at that point. They're not going to argue. They're not going to put up a fight. There's not even a lawyer who would take that case up and be like, just give them what they want. Otherwise, they will open a can of whoop ass on you.
Now, I was reading last night.
You were reading? Wow.
Now, part of Project 2025 last night.
You were what now?
I was reading one of the policies in Project 2025 last night, and this is going to either piss you off or blow your fucking mind. One of the things they want to do is dismantle NOAA.
Yeah, I read that as one of their 10 points. And explain what NOAA is to anybody viewing this video.
NOAA is the national organization, the National Oceanic and Aquatic Association. They are the reason why we have the hurricane radars, the hurricane alerts, the severe
tornado warnings, tornado alerts.
Yes, and one of the policies in Project 2025 is to dismantle all NOAA radars.
Did you figure out what that was about?
Now I'm still fucking reading through it. What do you think?
You're still reading through it. I could literally, by them getting rid of NOAA, I can tell what they're trying to do.
Are
you ready to have your testicles blown off?
No.
Are you ready for information drop?
Yeah.
By canceling out NOAA, they can ignore climate change, which isn't actually climate change as we know it. Climate change is a fear-mongering word meant to instill fear in us. Now,
Oh, you mean like the ozone layer during the 80s?
worse than that. Can I break this down in 3 easy theories that all intertwine?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, you have plate tectonics. What does plate tectonics say?
Earthquakes?
Almost slapped you. Plate tectonics says we live on plates that move around constantly and go under and above each other, right? But we're constantly on the move.
Yeah.
Secondly, that causes mountains and all kinds of shit. But secondly, then you have tilt. Like we're on an axis, right? Now, we're on a semi-quasi-stable axis that moves, right? Now, you mix quasi-stable axis that keeps on moving generally towards one direction, not the other, and then you have these plates which are moving around. What happens with the axis moving one way and the plates moving all different directions? What do you get?
A whole lot of fucking trouble.
Changes to weather over a long period of time.
Yeah.
It's not climate change, it's natural progressive change. And 3/4 of, we're no longer in Tornado Alley in Kansas. We're considered it, but now the South is getting hit so many fucking times. They've actually altered Tornado Alley so that we're out of Tornado Alley, and it's more towards this. It's more towards the east of us.
Yeah, because I have a friend that lives in Kentucky, and she was telling me last night in Discord that she lives in the new Tornado Alley.
Yeah, they adjusted Tornado Alley. We're barely in it. We get maybe 100 tornadoes a year, and 15 years ago, we used to get 300, and 25 years ago, we were standing at 600 and 900 tornadoes a year. So we're out of Tornado Alley. Because like every other day, they're reporting in the South they get hit by tornadoes in the spring. We're no longer being hit by them. We're being hit by like 5, 10. They're being hit by fucking 30 in a week. So, and I'm not denying that climate's change. I'm saying the term we know as climate change, the big scary term, is bullshit. It's meant to monger fear within us and make us feel scared and feel the heebie-jeebies, which isn't right. If people actually understood science in the context of it, they would understand that climate is going to change, one way or the other.
Yeah, just like when we were kids, we had the ozone layer is depleting, and there's a hole in the ozone layer, and
apparently we were supposed to by what, the year 2001, be completely out of ozone.
Yeah,
and the ozone repaired itself. And what do they find out about ozone depletion? What do they find the cause of it was?
cow farts.
Yeah. Cows farting. Methane from fucking cows.
Now, if you remember, they used to tell us, beware of CFCs, like hairspray.
Yeah, and CFCs contribute to how much of the ozone depletion?
What, not very much.
Yeah, we're talking a sliver of that huge pie. CFCs contributed to maybe 5% of it. And we're talking that's breaking open every fridge, every aerosol can, anything that contains CFCs, popping everything, all of them in one day. It contributed to 5% of the ozone depletion. But the other 95%, kelp farts. But, oh, this is emerging science, we're going to die! A cow's butthole is responsible for us having depleted ozone. Wow! You guys are smart. You have an IQ of 225 or 300. You couldn't figure out that it was a cow fart? Come on. Because they were only being told that it was man's fault. They weren't paying attention to the data. And, yeah, I like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't like it when people lie about the facts that are being presented. And if they're in context properly, you can disseminate them very quickly. Like when I gave my facts over COVID, I know I got I got slammed by a lot of people for saying that COVID wasn't that deadly. But then when my numbers came out, what did everybody say?
You were right. We were wrong.
They didn't say a goddamn thing. I literally presented the numbers to them and gave them percentages based on those numbers by population. And I'm the crazy one because I actually did the homework. It took me hours. Like, what was it? That one time it took me like 6 hours to do the numbers because I was on the phone with you. I was on the phone like 3 hours. Yeah. We were just bullshitting about COVID, and I was doing the numbers. And not even I. Then I had my wife do them. Then I asked you to do them. Then I asked your wife to do them, which was fucking pointless. She's worse at math than I am. Yeah. But in the end, all of the competent numbers agreed with each other, did they not?
Yep, they did. And didn't you get flagged?
Everybody ignored me.
Didn't you get flagged or something on?
I got flagged a couple times when I challenged it, and they let it go because it's like, well, your information is wrong. No, it's not. I presented the right context. I even contacted the panel that does the big decisions. I told them, you go through my video and you look for anything that is false. Look for anything that is out of context because I very clearly explained the context of each number, did I not?
Yes, you did.
But everybody ignored me, and yeah.
But there's another policy in this Project 2025 that kind of alarms me. They want to gut military benefits and military insurance.
They can't. I mean, they could, but it would be stupid because the military would end up being separately billed by all the hospitals, and the VA would also be able to fluff up their charges to make more money for the wounded soldiers. They also said that they were planning in their 10-step thing, their list of 10 things to do, was ban pornography. That ain't going to happen. They already tried that in the 90s when the internet was starting up, and porn flourishes. There are certain kinds we don't want to flourish, but porn flourishes no matter what you do. People are going to want to get off.
Yeah, they want to re-implement the Comstock Act.
I'm trying to remember which thing it is. I read this thing like 3 weeks ago, and I've been a little busy being a maintenance man. Which thing was the Comstock thing? Oh, you're looking that up, aren't you? You're all black and white. You look Sophia. I can't hear what you're saying.
I just shared it to you where it says share.
Where does it say share at?
Down below next to settings, it'll say share screen.
It says present next to settings.
That's it.
Damn it, son! Why didn't you say that? Okay, am I supposed to be sharing screen, video file, extra camera,
Yeah.
slide?
I just shared it, and it's on the Comstock Act about Wikipedia.
Again, am I supposed to share the screen?
Yes.
Well, see, why don't you just say that? Let's see. I don't see anything yet, but oh, hold on. I'm looking. Give me a second. I'm gonna try this for just a second. If I get the damn thing to share.
Hey, do you want me to read it to you?
My browser has blocked my screen. So yeah. Hold on.
Okay. The Comstock Act of 1873 refers to a series of current provisions in federal law that generally criminalize the involvement of the United States Postal Service, its officers, or a common carrier in conveying obscene matter, crime inciting matter, or certain abortion-related matters. The Comstock Act is largely codified across Title 18 of the United States Code and was enacted beginning in 1872 with the attachment of the extraneous rider to a Postal Service reconciliation bill, amended multiple times since initial enactment, was most recently in 1996. The act is nonetheless often associated with the U.S. Postal Inspector and anti-vice activist Anthony
Okay, based on the Comstock Act, anti-abortionists cannot show photos or depictions of aborted fetuses. Correct?
No, the Comstock Act would stop abortion pills coming in the mail.
According to what you just read, disturbing images. Go back and read it. I'm telling you, I heard what you read. I'm not taking a crap with you. I'm not trying to bullshit you.
No, a certain abortion-related matter.
That would include, and they don't need to include pictures of aborted fetuses to fearmonger their constituency, which is what they do.
Yes, and there's a policy in Project 2025 that wants to have the FDA overturn the safety regulations for mifepristone and enact the Comstock Act, where women can't get mifepristone sent to them anymore.
Okay, now here's an even more moral and ethical question for you personally.
Okay.
If the issue is brought up by women and gets passed that they ban mifepristone in all abortions, are you behind that? Are you gonna okay?
No, I'm pro-choice. It's a woman's body. She has the right to choose what happens to her own body.
And that's where we differ from most of Congress, because Congress is filled with a bunch of old pasty white, old motherfucking guys, and women who haven't had babies in fucking this half a century. Given that, does the Supreme Court, which is what, 3/4 men?
Yeah.
Do they need to be ruling on abortion at all?
No, they do not.
Now,
And
why
that's
shouldn't
not-
they be ruling on abortion?
Because they're not women.
They're not women. They don't have uteruses. They can't have babies, right?
All right. And that reminds me, I don't know if you've watched the news about it. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has
Filed impeachment proceedings against two of the Supreme Court justices.
Clarence
You
Thomas
think that didn't catch my ear?
Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito.
And the best chance they have of impeaching is going to be Clarence Thomas, because they have unrefuted evidence that he is accepting donations from a conservative Republican being showered with lavish gifts to rule on his contributor's side. And that means that also means that at the moment the Supreme Court can be bought and paid for. Is it ethical? Fuck no.
But you see, here's the thing, though. AOC knows that this impeachment is not going anywhere in a Republican-controlled House.
But that's the coolest part.
She called it symbolic.
Who controls impeachment?
What? I think what was.
Oh, you forgot. You need to read up again, don't you? Who's in charge of impeachment proceedings?
Was it Senate?
So why didn't Trump get impeached?
Because the Republicans.
Because the Republican controlled Senate just threw away the charges and said, "Fuck that, we're not doing it." Now that it's Democrat controlled, they could literally slide it through without a problem, and charges would be brought. The Senate is in charge of impeachment, not the House. The House can bring charges, but they can't do anything else.
Yeah, she brought charges, but that's all she brought. But she called.
And who's in charge of enforcing the charges?
No, listen. She called it symbolic because she knows it's not going to get past the House.
The House isn't required to get an impeachment. You've forgotten your Constitution, haven't you? It is up to the Senate to go through with an impeachment charge. The House can't do it. The House can file charges, but they can't do anything about it. The Senate has to pass it. Right now, it's Democratic controlled. So if they get it done, they can oust him.
Yeah, but what about Alito? Because she brought him up too.
He can be impeached as well. And with them in control of the House, or the Senate, not the House is Republican controlled. If they have the Senate in the bag, they can impeach the Supreme Court justices. And then the problem is, with that is you create two more seats that are open, which would take forever because the Republicans are going to block it.
Yep, filibuster.
The filibuster is only a tool for those who can't do it. Who can't do it the right way. I'm not saying like when the Senate filibustered the abortion debate. I think they had a duty to do that. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
God, I've got an ad thing popping up for some stupid ass reason. Trying to get rid of it. Or do something else with it.
Now, here's something interesting about the Comstock Act, though. The Comstock Act does not criminalize obscenity, criminal incitement, or abortion directly, but it criminalizes the use of the mail, a common carrier, or an interactive computer service in the conveyance of these materials. Since abortion pills like mifepristone are used in over 50% of American abortions, the Comstock Act has been the focus of more legal, political, and media attention following litigation and legislative activity by various actors in the U.S. Anti-abortion movement who aim to utilize the Act's provision to restrict abortion access in the United States.
Because a bunch of right-wing Christian conservatives want to ban abortion at any cost. They want to take away contraceptives. It's if you have sex, you must pay the price. Okay, what if it's a one-night stand? You get drunk, you don't have condoms. You're supposed to live with that. You're supposed to live with some screw job for 18 years. Well, they should have a faith in God. What if they're atheists? They don't believe in God, or if they're a Satanist? You want to give birth to the Antichrist, which I think is a moot point right now.
I seriously think Trump's the Antichrist. The director of the Heritage Foundation has noticed Trump backing away from Project 2025, and the director of the Heritage Foundation said it's okay if he backs away from the Project 2025. We know he's backing away. Since this is an election season, we have respect in the fact he's backing away from it. But
because he wants to entice more voters to vote for him, and if he denounces them now and accepts it when he gets in office, we're still all screwed.
Yeah, because they want it. One of the mandates in this 956 page freaking radical crazy freaking policy thing. They want to change the name of the Department of Human Services to the Department of Life.
And they also, I saw it on the news. I saw an unedited clip of it, so they can't claim it was edited. There's a black man standing on the podium saying, back in the day, and this is not a guy who's young, he's like a Gen Xer or a millennial, stating that back in the day, in the traditional family household, the man voted for the entire household, ergo in disenfranchising all women of their right to vote. That's bullshit, and it's sexist.
There's
it wasn't. I didn't watch the edited clip where they cherry picked. They aired the speech just like, dude, you want only head of the household to vote, and that's it. And that's at the CPAC convention.
Yeah, and some of these southern states are actually introducing bills that only the head of household can vote.
And that's disenfranchising millions of votes. Not hundreds of thousands, millions of votes. Because who are the ones who voted to keep abortion in the Kansas Constitution?
Women.
Yeah, and I sided with the women on it. I voted to keep abortion on the Kansas Constitution. We're in it. I'm okay with that because I'm a free thinker. I like to compare and contrast. And yeah, a lot of the right wingers, especially the extremists, well, if you had sex, you need to pay the price for it. Okay, you never had a one night stand? If you haven't, you've probably been married too long, or I fell in love with my high school sweetheart. Not all of us did that. We cannot live by your experiences alone. But I want to ask you a weird question. It's related to the assassination attempt. Now, you've watched plenty of documentaries about the Secret Service, right?
Yeah.
When they normally do a check on where the president's going to be, or presidential candidate, what is their usual? I remember quite vividly on one special them repeating the fact that it's a 300-yard radius, right?
Yes.
That way, if you've got some toy that shoots that far, because there are air rifles that shoot that far, they check 300 yards. In this instance, with the Trump rally, they didn't do anything with the immediate damn area.
Yeah.
And if you look at the ongoing footage, it's been released. That was only 148 yards away. The shooter was. Why wouldn't they do 300 yards?
Now, according to the head of the Secret Service, normally when they go in to a place to hold a rally or help with a rally, they have federal officers with them to help out and coordinate with with the local PD.
The local constabulary.
Yes, and what the head of the Secret Service said was, since this was in a rural area, because Butler, Pennsylvania is a rural area, the local law enforcement wasn't used to something this magnitude, a rally of this size or this magnitude, and they wasn't corresponding with the Secret Service like other states have. That's used to like big rallies and stuff like that.
But it doesn't excuse the fact that they didn't check 300 yards.
Yeah.
Of where we're speaking, right?
Right, and there was some of the rally attendees, the supporters, were pointing the guy out to the local.
I've started seeing footage of that.
Yeah, they were pointing him out, and from what according to one of the local law enforcement, this because everyone was pointing a suspicious character out, walking towards a building.
Yeah.
And one of the local PD actually interacted with the shooter, asked him what he was doing, and he said he was just walking over to use the bathroom. And by the time that the Secret Service was onto him with their snipers on the roof, he had already popped off 7 shots.
No, they were already on the roof.
The sniper or the Secret Service? The
Secret Service is already on the roof.
Yeah, the Secret Service was already on the roof.
Why do you think they killed him? Some quit.
Yeah, but the dude got 7 shots off by the time the Secret Service snipers
in rapid fire success.
Yes, and the gun used,
that is the issue.
Yes, the gun used was an AR-556, which was
and that's another good point, because people say that AR weapons are not meant for war. Who developed the AR system?
The military.
Which military?
Our military.
No.
Oh no, the Russian military.
The Russian military designed it to be a weapon of war. So anybody who's like, no, it wasn't designed. Yes, it was. You're ignoring history. It was specifically designed for warfare, for rapid fire in warfare.
Yes,
People
and,
who are saying it's not made for warfare are completely delusional. Why the hell would you have a gun that can fire that many rounds?
yes, and it had a scope
Unless
on
you were
it
in
too.
combat. Unless you were in combat.
It had a scope on it too.
Yeah.
But
Again,
the ones
it's a weapon of war. People who are like, well, it's not a weapon of war, it's a weapon of personal choice. No. Getting a handgun or a single shot rifle or even a repeater rifle is a choice for personal defense. Carrying an AR-15, you're not in Iraq or Afghanistan anymore. You're not in any war situation. You don't need that. But that's why I think that the Second Amendment has been perverted and molested, which we already covered in another podcast.
Yes.
And I have covered it in like 3 or 4 of my own podcasts about the Second Amendment and what it actually pertains to. So yeah, I don't feel any. I don't feel like I'm out of line by saying, yeah, we need AR-15s banned and high-capacity magazines banned because they are weapons of war. They're not meant for home use.
Now, do you
Handguns, I'm okay with. I'm okay with hunting rifles.
Do you think this guy's father will come under questioning because it was his father's gun that was used?
Oh, he'll probably try. Like, it's almost no doubt in my mind he will be tried for being the supplier of the weapon. Much like the parents of that kid who shot up 8 black people in a supermarket.
Now,
the father does bear some responsibility, but the ultimate responsibility is with the person who's already dead.
Yes, and there's some stuff that came out about him. He's 20 years old. He lived with his parents. That's how he got access to the gun.
Yeah, it's a Gen Z.
It was in his parents' house, and some of his schoolmates when he was in high school said that he was a loner. He always sat by himself at the lunch table. He was bullied constantly, and
well, he is a part of Gen Z, and they. It's funny how Gen Z says they want to live in a safe little bubble, but they will mercilessly harass each other to the point of extinction.
Yes, and this former schoolmate said that he hardly talked to him. He hardly talked to him. When he tried, Mr. Crooks would turn and walk away, and then this former classmate went on to say,
so it's starting to sound like the Columbine shooters.
Yeah, and this former classmate said that he was just an outcast.
And usually the outcast ends up being the shooter, right?
Yeah. But they did find his van nearby. It was like an older, like really old model minivan. It had a bomb in it that the Pennsylvania State Police had to get a bomb unit out there to defuse the bomb so they could get it in the van. And while they were also investigating the stage area and where the shooting took place, they found underneath the stage a box full of undetonated timed hand grenades.
I don't know about all that. I haven't researched everything that far. Because
I
have a life.
Packages.
I have a life.
Yeah, well, they called it suspicious packages, and there were suspicious packages that was all around the building where he made his sniper nest.
Yeah. But again, I haven't kept up with every single little thing because I have a life. I went to the zoo today with my party, and we had a fun time at the zoo. We ended early because it was 103 here. But after watching from like 6 o'clock to 1 a.m. all the news channels covering it, this is making the mainstream media's gravy for them. They're not having to work hard. All they've got to do is report.
Yes, and now they've added Trump's name on the Wikipedia page of failed assassination attempts of former U.S. presidents and U.S. presidents.
Yeah, now he has a Mike Tyson here from a sniper bullet. And I don't condone that kind of violence, but if you're going to do it right. Hit your target the first damn time. I'm not condoning violence. I've already said that enough times on here. If you're going to assassinate somebody, do it right the first damn time. It should only take one bullet. Boom. I would rather watch him die of a heart attack than everybody start live streaming, because according to the YouTube and mainstream media world, we are late to the game. But when the internet completely shuts down and blows up because of the story, and we can't compare and contrast notes, we're screwed out of what we can do. But we can look back now and see more evidence.
Well, like today, there's this content creator. His name is JLR. He was live streaming the police at the shooter's house.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, the local law enforcement is thinking that he was working alone. But like some of the higher ups in the federal government, like the FBI, thinks he might have been working with someone, and they're actually.
I don't think he was.
The FBI is pointing fingers at the local PD for not doing, like you said, the 300 square feet.
The 300 yard rule.
Yeah. They're blaming local PD for this dude to get there undetected and on top of the roof. And apparently there was a ladder left beside the building where this dude just climbed up. So the FBI is thinking possibly...
It's normally not the local constabulary's job to check every single person and to check the surrounding area. That's the Secret Service. Yes, and yes, I know there's a conspiracy theory floating around that the Secret Service let everything fly so that this guy can get a clean shot. I've already heard this crap. I'm not saying they're right, but it seems a little odd that their normal radius is 300 yards, and for this event, they barely covered the area he was in. Like, nobody in the crowd had weapons. They were all checked. And when I first heard about it, it's like, well, it sounded like fireworks. Well, maybe somebody lit off fireworks. Then they have a dead shooter, and the president's bleeding all over himself, and he's doing the... I couldn't tell whether he was saying fight or fuck.
No, he was going fight, telling his supporters there at the rally to fight.
And yet, if this had happened to Biden running for office, do you think they would have made this big a deal out of it?
I honestly don't know.
I don't think they would have made this big a deal. Trump makes his own gravy.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, when he was president, oh my God. The press didn't have to make up anything. All they report is what he sent out and speculate on. They didn't have to do anything, but stir the ingredients in to make the gravy for their plate. They're getting the chance to do that again to make the gravy instead of just reporting and then being off the air. I get that we haven't had a president shot in 43 years.
Yep.
But do you think the journalists give a shit? They're going to make their careers out of this.
Yeah. Now you have one of the Republican congressmen who is calling for the head of the head of the Secret Service to resign immediately.
Making anybody resign other than a certain number of people is just
Yeah.
what happened a few days? There was something that happened a few days ago where, like, a black female officer shot somebody because they weren't guarding properly or some crap. It's hard to remember because the Trump assassination attempt has taken over the globe. Like everything else is stuck.
Now, I want to know how you feel about the Biden campaign and the DNC attempting to pull all of the smear ads that they have
the
about
DNC needs to hold an open convention, and for what Mike Myers did in 11/9, they need to have an open. Convention, and then show the results on paper, not what somebody wants printed up 3 seconds before they go on stage. Have the results done up and then unalterable. I guarantee you that, and Kamala Harris would own the presidency.
Biden has 3,900 delegates so far.
I guarantee you Kamala can get more than that.
Now, see, here's the thing, though. Right now, the Biden campaign has $226 million in its coffers for the campaign.
It contains how much?
$226 million. In its coffers. The Abigail Disney, who's the heiress of the Disney empire, has stopped her donations to the Biden campaign. George Clooney has stopped his. Julia Roberts has stopped hers. A lot of the big money, big name donors are slowly stopping the money coming into the campaign.
For Biden, yes, and I absolutely understand why. After the debate, and then the media conference he had, I don't have faith in Joe Biden. I don't have faith in either man. If Kamala Harris wins, if they were to do an open convention and Kamala Harris won it, it would be a landslide.
Now, see, right now the campaign is doing mock poll matchups between Harris and Trump.
Don't even need to worry about the mock-up bullshit that the Democrats are doing. She doesn't have to worry about gaps, at least not like that. She's not going to go calling President Biden President Trump anytime soon. I don't think she's going to confuse Zelensky with Putin. And I doubt she's going to get lost telling a story the last 15 minutes and get lost three times in it.
Yeah, Me's changed his story so much of his upbringing, it's not even funny.
I don't even pay attention because, as you well know now, after that news conference for Biden, I don't have any faith in it. We need better candidates, period. Just all around better candidates. People who aren't fucking 80 or close to turning 80.
Yeah, see, just like that, just like that call-in he did the Morning Joe over on MSNBC. He was like quite literally in that call-in said the Democratic elites don't know what they're talking about. If you want to challenge me at the convention, then challenge me. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm not dropping out.
Yeah, did you remember when I asked you about the end of that news conference?
Yeah.
Well, if you remember correctly, he was stating that none of the polls say that he's losing or they have no confidence. What polls is he paying attention to? He gave a big smile and said, none of them are going against me. Yes, they all actually are.
Yeah. According to some top White House aides or some of his trusted advisors,
Yeah.
his inner circle, which is basically Jill Biden, Hunter Biden, all of his family, are insulating him from any of the other top White House aides, and his inner circle is went to one of his top advisors and says, we want this, and this person fired.
Well, when he said that the polls aren't showing him not having a chance of losing, it's like after that debate, every poll says that most of the majority of the country, let alone Democrats, have no faith in him winning. If Kamala Harris got on there, yeah, there's a good chance she can win. But right now, Biden has less than a 5% chance of winning.
Yes, and according to some top White House aides, Hunter Biden has been sitting in meetings with his dad, like top intelligence meetings.
I didn't know felons were allowed to be in the room. But then again, you can say the same thing to Trump, given his candidacy, which I don't think is right. But
Biden is introducing Hunter as his advisor, and he is allowed to sit in intelligence and highly confidential meetings with him.
I don't know, man. All I know is as a closing thought here now, because we're getting close to 10 o'clock. I don't need to be on this all night because I do have a job tomorrow. You don't. You do YouTube. I don't. I actually have a job. I'm not slamming you. You already know that. You do you. But as far as this whole incident goes, what is your stance now?
Well, I'm not voting for Trump. I'm not voting for Biden. If anything, I will vote for. I don't know if Jill Stein is still in it. If she is, I'll vote for her, or I'll vote for RFK Jr. But you have a lot of pundits on both sides of the aisle that said a vote for a third party is a vote for Trump.
Now, the issue I have with that is if I'm voting for a third-party candidate and it gets switched to a vote for Trump, it's illegal, it's unethical, and it's unconstitutional. Well, you got the right saying, well, you need to vote for one or the other. Why would I vote for two fucking old farts? Neither one of them needs to be run of the country. We need somebody younger in there. I don't care if they're 60. They're not 80 fucking years old, still eating McDonald's.
Yeah, see, what just like this Democratic pundit says, if you vote for a third-party candidate, you might as well be voting for Trump because, yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I kind of sit back and watched him for a minute. He said because he said with a third-party candidate being in the primary election, that would be a toss-up between Biden and Trump. If a lot of people vote for the third-party candidate, that would hurt Biden's chances from getting reelected. And that would improve Trump's chances of getting
But ethically, is it responsible to vote for Trump or Biden?
No.
No, I'm not saying people can't vote for Trump. I'm not saying people can't vote for Biden. But voting in mass, because, well, Trump will save you. No mistake. I mean, like he did last time. I'm sorry. If you think Trump saved America, you are delusional. If you think that Biden saved the United States, he kind of did. But has he lost his mojo? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of because you have like 20 some odd House Democrats that are urging him to step aside or step.
And most of them are almost as old as he is.
And they're also stating that they are disappointed in the White House for trying to conceal how Biden actually is. So they're blaming the White House.
Did you see the interview with Clyburn, the black guy?
Yeah, he said I'm riding with Biden.
Did you notice something about him? Because they interviewed him on NBC.
Besides being old?
How old is he?
I'd say at least 60s or 70s. Maybe
80,
older.
84 years old. He was shaking. Like I think he's all the Parkinson's. He's like, I stand behind Biden. If Biden backs off and Kamala Harris goes, I'm all in on her. Dude, you're 84. You're gonna be alive for like 5 fucking minutes. Why don't you assholes retire?
He goes, I'm riding with Biden.
And you can ride a porn star too. Doesn't mean you should pay for it like that. But I'm not wanting to be on here until 10 o'clock, so I'm going to end this at this point. Are there any final thoughts you want to give out? I can't hear a damn thing you're saying. I can see your mouth moving, but there's no sound.
Even though Trump was the number one for political rhetoric in this country, we all need to stop with the political rhetoric, because if the shooter had actually succeeded yesterday, where would this election be? Who would be the Republican nominee, or would Biden win by default? We all just need to take a deep breath and try to tamp down some of this political tension in the United States and come together.
Okay. And for my rebuttal on that, a lot of people come to bonfires. A lot of people. You enjoy them. I enjoy them. Hell, we all love them. We all love going to bonfires. They're a place to chill, drink, and speak, right? They share common ideas or even oppositional ideas. At this particular bonfire, Trump started the fucking bonfire. Starts talking shit, starts degrading everybody, calls everybody names he doesn't like. Bonfire gets so hot that a cinder actually hits him and injures him. He thanks everybody who helped him recover from being singed. Is the lesson be nice to the bonfire or don't start the bonfire?
Don't start.
It's a rhetorical question. It's a point to think about. If you start the bonfire and then you get your close to it and get burned, whose fault is it? Exactly.
The person that lit it.
Exactly.
Now I'll let you do your final thoughts with the crowd, and thank you for having me on, and you have a good night.
Oh, I'm getting off here too, man. It's getting too late for me to be up. I have to work tomorrow. Okay. For all of you that are still in attendance, all one of you right now, I do not condone this kind of violence. I've said that 6-7 times now, if not more. I will say, though, that if you're going to become an assassin, do better work. I'm not saying go out and assassinate President Trump. By no means. I'm not saying that at all. We all have to live in this country. We all do. We all have to live by the laws that govern it. And a former president who resorts to name calling and calling people out over falsehoods and false information because he is too cheap to take a loss and too proud to admit a defeat is not a president you want. We also don't want a president who tells us what we should be doing and gets lost 3 times in the conversation with himself. Since the president survived it, I hope him a speedy recovery. I hope that my condolences go to the family of the man who was killed, or people who were killed. And for all of you who are traumatized by it, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But I also can say for a fact that now you know what Capitol Police felt like when January 6th was stormed. If you don't like it, tough shit. It's a fair comparison now. You guys have a lovely night, and thank you for tuning in. And this video may get blocked, I don't know. But you guys have fun and have a lovely evening and a great night. Sleep well, and I hope you have a wonderful time. Have fun and peace out.